This data shows a two-step phonological process affecting English words that contain a nasal, voiceless fricative sequence. The first step is the insertion of a ta between the nasal and the voiceless fricative. This happens to improve articulation ease, especially across nasal fricative clusters. This process is often called stop epenthesis in nasal fricative clusters. The second step is when the inserted ta sound undergoes pre-glottalization, resulting in the final output.
The first rule says, a voiceless stop is inserted between two consonants. First a regular consonant and then a voiceless sibilant to ease pronunciation. The second rule says, a voiceless oral stop becomes glottalized when it occurs at the end of a word, possibly after one or more consonants. This is a case of a feeding relationship between two rules. The first rule inserts the voiceless stop ta between a nasal and a voiceless sibilant. The second rule then glottalizes this inserted ta if it occurs in the right environment. Without the first rule, the second rule would have nothing to apply to. In this way, Rule 1 creates the condition needed for Rule 2 to take effect. Hence, Rule 1 feeds Rule 2.
Today, we're looking at something pretty cool about English, specifically how we pronounce words like prince or sense.
Right. Those words ending in a nasal sound like N, followed by an S.
Exactly. And you, listening, you've got the data showing these words like prince, sometimes come out sounding like prince or even, well, slightly different again.
Prince.
Yeah, that one. So our mission really is to unpack what's happening with these little sound shifts. Feels like there's something subconscious going on.
It really does. And what's striking is how consistent it is. You see prince going to prince, or that prince version. It's not just random. There's definitely a pattern, a phonological process at work.
Okay, so let's break it down. First step, going from, say, print to prince, there's clearly an extra T sound in there, right?
Yeah.
It seems to just sort of appear between the N and the S. And it's the same for mince becoming mince. Dense to dense.
Sense to sense, dance to dance. You get it.
It's like this unwritten T2 just walks in.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's technically called stop epenthesis. Bitter mouthful.
Okay. Stop epenthesis.
Yeah. Basically, when you have that nasal sound, the N right next to a voiceless fricative like stas, putting a little stop sound, the T in between actually makes it easier to pronounce.
Ah, okay, like a bridge between the sounds.
Exactly. It smooths out the transition. Think about going from N directly to S. It's a little awkward.
Yeah, I can feel that. If I say prince really slowly, prince versus prince, my tongue almost wants to tap that T.
Precisely. Your mouth kind of does it automatically.
Okay, but then there's that other pronunciation in the data, like prince. What's that symbol? Looks like a question mark missing its dot.
Ah, yes. It represents a glottal stop.
A glottal stop.
Yeah, it's that sound you make in the middle of uh-oh, that little catch.
Right, uh-oh. Yeah, okay.
So what often happens is that the tense sound we just talked about, the one we inserted.
The epenthetic ta.
Right. That teat can then get, well, weakened or changed into that glottal stop, especially if it's at the end of a syllable or a word.
Huh. So instead of a full prince with a sharp T, it's more like prince, with a little catch before the S.
Exactly. Your vocal cords just close briefly and then release into the S.
Wow. Okay, so first we stick a T in there to make it flow better. And then that T can sometimes morph into this little throat catch thing.
Pretty much. It's a natural two-step process that happens without you even thinking about it.
So when you're just casually saying sense, you might actually be saying something closer to sense, or maybe even sent-ease without realizing.
That's exactly it. It's your speech system optimizing for fluency. Totally automatic.
Okay, so for you listening, try it now. Say prince, mince, dense, sense, dance. Pay close attention to that moment between the N and the S.
Do you feel a tiny T? Or maybe just a slight pause, a catch?
That could be it. That could be this whole process happening right in your own mouth. It's kind of an aha moment, realizing you do this.
It really highlights how dynamic pronunciation is. These aren't errors. They're just features of natural connected speech in English. Makes things smoother.
Right. So quick recap. We often insert a T that's stop epenthesis between an N and an S to make it easier. And then sometimes that inserted T gets turned into a glottal stop, that sound.
You've got it. A neat little linguistic adjustment.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other little sound changes are we making all the time without noticing?
Absolutely. It opens up a whole area of how sounds interact and change subtly in everyday talk.
Makes you listen a bit differently.